There's a certain kind of feeling that stays with people long after an interaction ends. You leave a conversation. Everything seemed normal. The words sounded kind enough. The smiles looked real. Nothing obvious happened. And yet somehow, something feels heavier afterward. A strange discomfort. A quiet confusion. Almost like part of your mind noticed something your thoughts haven't fully understood yet. Most people experience this at some point, but they often ignore it. They tell themselves they're imagining things, overreacting, being too sensitive, too suspicious, too emotional, so they dismiss what they felt. And over time, they stop trusting their own emotional signals. But human psychology works in quieter ways than most people realize. The nervous system notices patterns long before conscious awareness catches up. Long before logic creates explanations. Long before someone can clearly say, something feels off. And that's partly why fake behavior becomes difficult to recognize. Because fake people rarely look fake. There's usually more happening beneath the surface. The hidden signs of fake people are often misunderstood because people assume dishonesty always appears in obvious ways. Manipulation, lying, two-faced behavior. But human behavior is rarely that simple. Psychology research suggests that people naturally scan social environments for emotional safety. The brain quietly pays attention to warmth, consistency, authenticity, predictability, not consciously, automatically. The nervous system constantly asks, do I feel safe here? Can I relax around this person? Does what they say match what I feel? And when something feels emotionally inconsistent, the brain notices, even if words sound perfect. One hidden sign often appears through emotional inconsistency. Some people create warmth very quickly. Connection forms unusually fast. Compliments arrive easily. Attention feels intense. Validation appears constantly. At first, this feels comforting. Human beings naturally move toward warmth, toward approval, toward emotional closeness. But over time something changes. The warmth becomes unpredictable, present one day, distant the next. Interest appears when convenient, disappears when emotional effort becomes necessary. Psychologists sometimes connect this pattern to external validation systems. Some people learn relationships through emotional exchange rather than emotional connection. Attention becomes currency. Connection becomes performance. Not because someone is evil, because somewhere earlier in life, connection may have felt conditional, unstable, transactional, and people adapt, quietly, over years. Another hidden sign appears through subtle competition. Not obvious competition, quiet competition. You share something meaningful, a success, progress, excitement, and somehow the conversation shifts. Not toward celebration, toward comparison. Your experience becomes redirected, minimized, balanced against theirs. Human psychology naturally includes social comparison. Everyone does it sometimes. But fake behavior often creates a strange emotional pattern. Your growth feels uncomfortable around them. Your confidence changes the atmosphere. Not because confidence is wrong. Because insecurity sometimes struggles. Fake people often mirror connection without creating genuine vulnerability. Conversations feel emotionally close, but strangely one-sided. You slowly reveal more, share more, explain more, and over time something feels uneven. You know their opinions, their reactions, their observations, but somehow, very little of who they truly are. Behavioral psychology suggests that trust grows through gradual emotional reciprocity. Real connection usually creates balance. Not perfect balance. Human balance. Mutual openness. Mutual emotional presence. But some people learn social closeness differently. They learn observation, adaptation, performance. They become highly skilled at becoming what people expect. Different around different groups. Different around different personalities. Not because flexibility is fake. Human beings naturally adapt socially. But fake behavior sometimes creates something else. Emotional shape-shifting. An identity that changes constantly depending on approval. because external acceptance becomes survival. Some people learned very early that belonging required adjustment, required performance, required becoming what other people needed. Over years, authenticity slowly disappears beneath adaptation. Another hidden sign lives inside small moments people rarely question. Subtle dismissals, tiny undermining comments, quiet emotional confusion, not obvious cruelty, something quieter, comments that create doubt, conversations that leave confidence feeling slightly smaller. Psychology research around emotional influence suggests people naturally absorb social feedback over time. Not because someone is weak, because nervous systems adapt socially. Human beings are relational creatures. Words matter. Energy matters. Patterns matter. This becomes difficult because fake behavior often exists beside genuine care. Someone can care about people and still carry insecurity. Someone can love people and still create emotional inconsistency. Human psychology is complicated. People carry fears, protective patterns, old survival strategies. Not every emotionally difficult person is fake. Not every quiet person is authentic. Not every charming person is manipulative. Different nervous systems work differently. Different life experiences shape people differently. No side is automatically right. No personality type is automatically safer. But authenticity tends to create one feeling consistently. Psychological safety. You feel more yourself. Not less. More relaxed. Not smaller. More accepted. Not carefully managed. There's also a hidden paradox people rarely talk about. People who become targets for fake behavior are often deeply genuine themselves. Thoughtful people. Empathetic people. Emotionally aware people. People who naturally give understanding before receiving clarity. And those strengths carry quiet risks. Empathy sometimes explains away patterns that need boundaries. Kindness sometimes stays longer than safety allows. Emotional intelligence sometimes notices pain in others before noticing pain inside itself. That doesn't make empathy weakness. It makes empathy human. But understanding people deeply and protecting personal boundaries often need to exist together. Because emotional awareness matters. The nervous system notices more than people realize. That strange heaviness after certain conversations. That quiet confusion. That feeling of becoming smaller around certain people. Those experiences often contain information. Not judgment. Information. And sometimes learning to trust emotional information changes everything. Not every difficult interaction means someone is fake. Not every inconsistency means someone is harmful. Human beings are imperfect, complicated, growing, adapting. But healthy relationships often create emotional steadiness. Not perfection, steadiness. Space to exist without constant emotional calculation. Space to feel accepted without performing. Space to feel safe enough to become more yourself. And if you've spent years questioning your instincts, wondering whether you were too sensitive, too aware, too affected by people, your experience probably makes more sense than you think. Your nervous system notices patterns for reasons. Your emotions carry information. Your discomfort does not automatically mean weakness. Sometimes it means awareness. And awareness, when paired with understanding, becomes clarity. Because beneath many confusing relationships, there are emotional patterns quietly asking to be noticed. And if this felt strangely familiar, there are probably other parts of human behavior that make more sense than you've been told. Sometimes what people call intuition is simply the nervous system recognizing patterns before conscious awareness finds words for them.